Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Speaking Friend Center. Today's episode is for those of you who keep asking, why do I understand English but still can't speak it? We will have Dini here. Hi, Dini.
Oh, hi Rita. How are you? What are we going to do in this episode?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining. Today, we're going to explore the reasons why many learners understand English really well but struggle to actually speak it.
Sounds great. I already have one of the biggest reason. I see this all the time with my students.
Really? What is that?
It's overthinking grammar. Like many learner pause because they are trying to build the perfect sentence in their head before they speak. Then they start to thinking, should I use present perfect? Is it has gone or had gone? And while they're thinking, the moment is gone. And the funny thing is, native speakers also make grammar mistake all the time. But you know what? They just keep talking.
So, when learners wait for the perfect sentence, they end up saying nothing and they miss the chance to practice, which keeps them stuck. I had a student who always raised her hand in class but then said, never mind, because she wasn't sure if her grammar was right. It was sad because she had something to say, but she let grammar stop her.
That's so true. And honestly, communication is more important than perfection. Like if you say, he go to school yesterday, people still understand you, right? It's not a perfect grammar, but the message is clear. And once a learner realize that native speakers care more about connection than correction, they feel more free to speak.
I always remind my students fluency comes from flow, not from fixing every mistake. And sometimes, the more you focus on grammar, the less natural you sound. The goal should be to communicate first. Grammar can come with time and practice, but if you never speak, you never improve.
So, for those of you listening, please don't let grammar control your mouth. Use the grammar you know and focus on getting your message across.
Exactly. And speaking of not improving, that brings us to another big reason why learners struggle to speak, even when they understand English really well, the fear of making mistakes. This one is huge. That is the second reason. Even students who know the right words often stay silent just because they are afraid of saying them wrong.
I've seen that too. Like, they would rather say nothing than risk sounding wrong. And that fear becomes a habit.
Right? I had a student once who whispered all the time in speaking class. When I asked her why, she said, I don't want anyone to hear if I mess up. It broke my heart because she was actually good, but the fear held her back.
I know that fear is real. Some learners are just afraid they will be judged. I also had a student once who said, Miss, I speak English, but my friend will tease me. So she never practiced, even though she wanted to.
Oh, that makes me sad, but it's so common, especially in environments where confidence is not encouraged. I think learners need to remind themselves that mistakes are part of the journey. And actually, mistakes often lead to the best learning movements. Like if you say something wrong and someone gently corrects you, you will remember it better than something you only read in a textbook.
Exactly. So if you're listening to this and afraid of messing up, let us tell you now, make the mistake. Because if you're waiting until you're perfect, you will be waiting forever. And sometimes that fear of making mistakes leads to not speaking at all. If you don't speak, then you simply don't get enough practice.
That is the third big reason why people understand English but can't speak it. They just have not practiced speaking enough.
It's like watching tons of cookies videos but never actually cooking. You can know everything, but if you don't use it, it will not become natural. So many learners focus on reading and listening, which is great. But without speaking practice, it's hard to get comfortable expressing yourself.
Totally. Speaking is a skill you build by doing. And if your mouth and brain don't work together, fluency will not happen. And many learners have the same problem for this reason. They don't have anyone to talk to. That's why I always tell my students it's so important to find someone to speak English with, even if it's just a friend, a classmate, or someone online who is also learning.
Agree with you, Guida. Having a real person to talk to makes a huge difference. It will push you to respond, ask questions, and keep the conversation flowing. Plus, when you speak with someone else, you get immediate feedback, whether it's a correction or encouragement that helps you improve faster.
I know for many learners, finding someone to practice with can be the hardest part. That's why at Speaking Friends Center, we make it easy for you to find speaking friends. We will connect you with friendly tutors who become your conversation friends, like real friends you can talk with every day. So you don't have to worry about making mistakes or feeling shy.
Yes, having someone who chats with you regularly makes practicing fun and much easier. Plus, you get helpful feedback while building your confidence step by step. Now that we've talked about the reason, let's share some practical tips on how we can start fixing this problem today, Vida.
All right, let's go back to the first one. If you're overthinking grammar, the solution is to focus on fluency first. I always tell my students it's okay to make grammar mistakes while speaking. Just keep the conversation going. One tip is to practice with simple sentences. Don't force yourself to speak like an academic writer. You can do a 1 minute speaking challenge. Set a timer, pick a topic, and speak non-stop. No editing, no correcting, because the more you do it, the more natural it becomes.
Great, Vida. That's a perfect way to get out of that grammar trap. Now, I have some ideas for the second problem, which the fear of making mistakes.
Please go ahead.
Alright, first, it's really about changing your mindset. Mistake is not failure. They mean you are trying, you are learning, and that's a good thing. One thing I recommend is recording yourself speaking. Sometimes when learners hear their own voice, they realize it's not as scary as they thought. Plus, over time, you can track your improvement, and that's super motivating.
That's a great tip. When you listen back, you can actually hear how much you have improved, even if it is feels slow at first.
Another important point is to practice in safe, supportive environment. Surround yourself with people who encourage you, not those who criticize or mock. I always tell my students to find friends, tutors, or groups where mistakes are welcomed because that's where real growth happens.
Yes, safe spaces matter so much. When you feel accepted, your confidence grows, and you are not afraid to speak up. Once again, you can come to the Speaking Friends Center to find a supportive environment.
And remember, everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. The difference is that confident speakers don't let mistakes stop them. And speaking of practicing more, that brings us to the third Problem. Not speaking enough.
Even if you have the right mindset and confidence, if you don't actually use English regularly, it's hard to improve. That's why consistent practice is key.
Uh-uh. And actually, you don't need a native speaker to start speaking. You can talk to yourself in the mirror, like vlogging your day, or do shadowing. Repeat after videos or podcasts. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day makes a huge difference. I have students who just talk about their daily routine every morning, and after a few weeks, their fluency improves so much.
Agree with that. The key is consistency, not perfection. But again, having someone to actually have a conversation with is, of course, better than talking by yourself, right?
Right. When you speak with another person, you get real time reactions. You learn to listen, respond, and keep the flow going. That's something you can't get from just practicing alone. Also, conversations are unpredictable. You never know what the other person will say, so it trains your brain to think and respond quickly.
That's how real life speaking skills develop. It's like a workout for your brain and mouth together. So, if you feel stuck because you don't have anyone to talk to, remember, you are not alone. That's why, at Speaking Friends Center, once again, we connect you with friendly tutors who chat with you every day. It's like having a speaking partner and a friend roll into one.
Yes, yes, and yes. Having someone to practice with daily keeps you motivated and makes learning fun. You will notice your confidence grow naturally.
So, the best way to improve your speaking is to practice often with real people. That's the secret many successful learners use. Alright, everyone, we have covered a lot today. The three big reasons why many people understand English but can't speak it, and some practical ways to fix those problems.
Yes, Vida. And remember, don't get stuck trying to speak perfectly. It is very okay to make mistakes.
That's right. And if you are looking for a friendly, supportive place to practice speaking English, again, don't forget to check out Speaking Friends Center. We are here to connect you with tutors who will help you build your confidence step by step.
Right, because learning is more fun and effective when you have someone to share the journey with.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope today's episode gives you the motivation to start speaking. Keep practicing, be patient with yourself, and remember, every step forward is progress. See you next time on Speaking Friends Center.